Good evening, morning, or noon, what have you. You got your Omi Inca 7 and Tribe live here today from Omi's production studio, also from Oracle Divination Network. We'd like to welcome you. This is our 10th year and anniversary. We celebrated 10 years in May 19th, and we're going forward with building our directory for our Oracle Divination Network work. We are the paranormal, and we are unapologetically spiritualists, and we make no apologies for being spiritual. And one of the things that we'd like to say to you, let me try to turn off my fan here because it might get a little loud. One of the things that we are going to be addressing, did that stop it? Let's see. Okay. One of the things that we are going to be discussing is why so many white people are turning to voodoo culture. And it is not a religion, it is a culture. And I want to remind people to stop calling it a religion. It is a culture. It stems out of tradition. It is a tradition and the tradition of our culture. So, my question then would be why are so many white people following after voodoo? Let me try to break it down to you because some people get it very, very confused when they see the African traditional religion. They tend to think that Ifa is the greater religion and that voodoo falls up under that. But it's just the opposite. Voodoo has 19 nations from around the world that they service. And they have festivals each year where they call all of those 19 nations in and feed them and have celebration. And they also have rituals and traditions that go forward. And voodoo is sort of like everywhere. And because it started with the Haitians and the Creoles, whenever you say that you're Creole, you have to equate your culture to Haitian culture. And knowing that Haitian's culture draw from the culture of voodoo, you would still be a part of voodoo, whether you like it or not. I didn't know that about my heritage because I am Creole. Now, Creole is a potpourri and mixture of a lot of different cultures. French is one of them, and also the Creole part comes from Senegal, from the African and Senegal, and understanding that there was a great war fought with the French that the Haitians were involved in, and they had to utilize their magic, their ancestorship. They had to go to the cemeteries to conjure and use their conjuring spirit to conjure up their ancestors to fight with them in a war. While you say that they're not alive, they're more alive than ever before with their energy. They tapped into their melanin, in other words, and they brought them forth and they fought in the war with them. And they won not one war, but two wars and possibly several more. But I do know that the Creoles are descendant of the French and of African descent of Senegal. And there was mixtures of different African background, some from Benin as well. But those people are Creole and they practice living in a cultural life in voodoo. Why? Because voodoo is sort of like your Wi Fi, I was told. It's everywhere and you can tap into it, and you could not avoid it if you wanted to. And that's why the white people have walked into it. And they've been walking into it because they see the power in it. It carries power in a frequency. And you must understand that that actual Ifa has deities and orishas that we try to appeal to, that we try to bow down and ask for favors and request favors. But in the voodoo, they actually have an actual God that mounts your body and takes possession of your body and that allows himself to speak through you and to you about end time solution and to give you answers for your problem. So voodoo is a little different. Now, some of us don't know how we came into this state. You could have been initiated, you could have been uh, uh, chosen, or you could have came up through lineage. I was chosen as a voodoo child. I was chosen. And I was not involved in this faith during my ministry. I was into Christianity, but I was chosen. Someone came and got me and took me by the hand and said that you are being summoned to speak to the chief. I had to go in front of the chief. I thought I had did something wrong. I said, but why me? Well, he sees the work that you're doing, and he has a job for you, and he wants you to be in Yalify. And I kept saying in Yaladay, getting the word wrong. And he says in Yalify, someone who will assist him and also manage the initiates and work with him to help him. So initially, I wanted to meet this chief. So I invited him and his assistant to my home to get better acquainted with me and my husband so we can find out just why was he summoning me. He said that he was an orphan child, a swamp priest. I was an orphan child. He said that he was from Gary, Indiana. I was from Gary, Indiana. So I guess he had sought me out, and the Spirit had told him that I was the chosen one to carry out a mission. He told me I was going to carry out a mission going overseas, and that don't worry, that this will be my initiation. And depending on how well I fared in that particular initiation would determine my position as an Inyalify or my position as a priest. So the initiation was to take the trip to Germany, and it played out so that I was in, I guess you say my back was up against the wall, and I had the government up on my shoulders. And I had to figure out how to avenge myself. And usually, when you're chosen for something, you are going to be indicted with many different things, and you're going to have to fight to dispel any allegations to prove that you're who you say you are, and for you to become stronger and become buffered. And as you become buffered, that builds your perseverance and builds you for the job that you're about to do. Now, as I said, Voodoo and Ifa are different, very different. Ifa has initiates, excuse me, Ifa has deities and orishas that we appeal to. We appeal to communing with them because we need something from them. And sometimes one is on our head as our mother, the other is on our head as our father, and we pay homage to them at our altar. We actually pour out a glass of water for our mother's spirit and our father's spirit, and we light a candle to each one of them. And we also set a pot up on our altar so we can honor them in their array of colors and their attributes and the things they like. Each one of them have an attribute. Whereas we must understand that in the voodoo, we're looking at the real gods coming to possess you, coming to mount you, coming to speak through you in their own voices. And sometimes their voices are changed and they're not audible where you can clearly hear the person's voice that lives in that soul, but you're hearing other voices that are coming out to give you solution for the town's problem, the village problem, or for that individual problem. It's just like you are speaking in tongues that they used to like to use speaking in tongues. Well, forget about the Christians speaking in tongues because that's babbling. It has nothing to do with this speaking in tongues because these people that mount you, these spirits that mount you, they are not speaking in non-understandable babbling. They are speaking in clear sentences and sometimes foreign languages so that they can give you a solution for the end time. They possess that soul, and whatever they possess that soul in doing, that soul may act out a different way. And then some people say, oh my God, what's wrong with him? Why is he acting that way? Because he's being possessed. And possession is good for the soul. And that's what they tarry for. They dance and tarry for the gods to come in and possess them and mount them. Hold tight. Hello? Okay. They just brought him back. He's here. Franklin had to go to Michigan. Are you here already? No, but you didn't say where. I mean, you said you're gonna knock on the door. I thought you was right at the door. Okay, so you just leaving. Okay, well when you get here, he probably will be asleep because he had stayed up later at Francis. So okay, all right then. All right, bye. Excuse me. As I was saying, we have to understand that there are many African traditional faiths, and they are all similar. And the names may change, but the concept is the same. Like there is in the Benin's faith, they practice Voodoo, and then in the Nigerians they practice Ifa, and they have the Lohins that are the lower uh, gods, who actually are the ones that are the epitome of the essence of who God is. And they're not gods, but those are the ones that we appeal to. Now, you must understand there's a hierarchy in this whole thing, and that hierarchy is set up just like a military hierarchy. You just cannot go skipping into heaven to get to God. There is a process and a chain of command. And that's how this religion or traditional, not religion, that's how this traditional culture is set up on a military basis. And in explaining that to you, you're not entering into a religion. It's a way of life. It's a culture. It's your heritage. Okay. So these are things you do on a regular basis. If you get up in the morning and wash your face with your head turned to the north, the east, or west, it's a ritual and a procedure. And that becomes a way of life. And the ultimate thing is to develop Iwa Pelu so you can develop good character and good conduct. Now, I want most of you to understand that we've got to take back our magic. Somebody has stolen our magic and turned it in on us. We are finding more white people that know more about our customs and traditions. They're going to more workshops and seminars. They're getting initiated, and some of them are getting initiated attempting to try to appeal to our ancestors. Now, here's my take on it. I don't think anybody else can possess someone's culture and way of life without exercising the connection to their ancestors, having some sense of connection to those people who made the transition. Otherwise, they cannot appeal to them and say, hey, Father, I need you to bless me. Hey, Father, I need you to help me out in my relationship. They can't hear you at that point. Now, when you have the voodoo can possess whoever he will, and they will possess whoever they will. But you have to be in a manner of practicing the faith and be a part of something. But why are so many white people jumping on the bandwagon? Is it because they see this magic is real? It is very powerful. And most white people gravitate to things that are powerful. When they see someone that got the power, they may not ever have to like you or even be on the same team with you, but they'll jump on the bandwagon with you for a temporary spell to see if they can overtake you and to ravish that information as their own. And they may even give homage to it by writing a book on it, saying that they're the first expert that wrote the book, when in fact it came from your ancestors. And we sit back and let this happen. Then they master all of our gifts and skills and then turn them in on us through psychology. And then we have psychologists that don't understand. You don't need to go to psychology school to learn how to unravel the mind of your own people. When you get into the mind, you know how it's wired, and you know what spirits have to overtake the mind to chant you back uh, into opposition and chant you back into stability. But we have so many clinicians that are white that are non-effective in these clinics, uh, of these rehabilitation clinics, of these alcoholic and anonymous clinics. There are very few black clinicians who are working in these settings. That's why you hear the outcry of many people needing therapeutic help, but there are very, very few that are chosen and a few are called to go in to the profession. But we've got to change that. We've got to overhaul our whole rehabilitation system and bring in priests and priestesses and put them at a level of a clinician. Give them some spiritual background, make sure they go through their initiation, or if they are chosen, make sure that they answer to a higher force, someone who initiated them. And then bring them into the arena of mental health and mental illness and watch them do their magic. Now, you white folks have watched us for a long time. We must be gifted if we got out of the mess that you had us held in the ships. And under the ships, many of us perished, but some of us made it out. And those who made it out were the very strong ones. So you're dealing with some of the strongest, baddest people that you've ever seen on the scene. And I'm one of them. Yes, I know, because I was chosen. I could have perished when my mother made her transition while I was 2 years old, because she perished 2 years before that. But there was a reason why she had to deliver me here, because I was being summoned to do a special job. I didn't choose Ifa. Ifa chose me. So as going into the initiation period, which was the process of my journey was a 5-year process, which is longer than anyone's initiation. And usually initiations are less time than that, but you're on a path for a lifetime learner. But nevertheless, let's get back to these white folks that are conjuring up voodoo. And then they're saying that it's bad and they're demonizing it and making us think that we need to come away from it, making us think that somebody is a witch. Well, I don't concur with you on this witch thing. These are not witches that practice in voodoo or practice in Ifa. These are practitioners. They have nothing to do with your witches and warlocks. So you got that confused. So don't bring that mess into our establishment if you are biting to become a priest or priestess. Go back into your own neighborhoods and try to fix a prevailing problem that you know you have, because every continent and every side of this earth that you have gone on to deposit your spirit, you have brought war. So I'm sure you know you need to practice on how to effectively change minds without bringing war. Everything you do, you think you must bring war, but that is not the art and skill of a real practitioner. We bring harmony and iwa pelu, good character and good conduct. So when you come in with that method that you're going to destroy, you're going to inflict, and then you want to take over the leadership, no, we are not about inflicting pain or hurt on anyone, because Ifa will come back to deal with you individually, and the traps that you set for someone else, you will fall in them yourself. Now, so they've taken our magic and they're using it in the legal system. That's what I tried to tell you. Every one of you priests in Yalafai, Apekibis, Babalas, you need to repossess your pulpit and take your magic and take it into the legal system to help our brothers and sisters who have been stuck in these penal institutions because they've been forced to take a plea, and to sign off on things they haven't done. Well, the law is rising up and appealing against any type of law that is on a figment of imagination that it's a law when it's in fact not a law. A law has to fulfill itself. And if the law does not fulfill itself, it is not a law at all. And you therefore are not obligated to abide by that law that will not fulfill itself. So priests and priestesses are the lawmakers. You must take up the lineage of reading the laws, of reading the case law, of reading the regulation, and getting involved and volunteering under pro bono to take cases, because you find that most of these lawyers are skilled in voodoo. They know the climate of numerology. They can pretty much predict what's going to happen in that court case. They've called on all kinds of saints to appear in that courtroom. They have idols there, and they're working their magic against us in the courtrooms. But yet, we are running from our own heritage. This is not a religion. You do not have to come in and give your pennies or your ducats, and you do not have to sign for your 10% donation. This is an actual culture. You're learning about your culture, how to embrace your culture, how to use your culture to your defense. We are not using our tools well. Mother Nature's been sitting out there waiting, setting out there. Oh, yay, the wind has been pushing up against your door, saying, when are you going to accept us as the nature that God sent to you for help? When are you going to come to the rivers to cry out and to leave an offering to the rivers to come and to help you with your problem, which has gotten greater and worse? And we still say we are free and we're citizens. We are not free. And we're still in this bondage because we don't take our voodoo lessons well. We don't take them onto our own and embrace them. We lead them astray so that others can find our gifts and dig them up and use them against us. That's exactly what is happening. No lawyer can be great unless he's tapped into voodoo to see into the future, to tell what the end will be. He cannot make a prediction just on case law alone, because the atmospheric pressures change and frequencies change and people change their mind, and people are fearing other people, so they give up other people in their testimony. Sometimes they lie in their convictions. But Ifa is always consistent, and voodoo is always consistent. It never changed. It will mend someone's broken heart. But nevertheless, we are letting white folks come in, take over our chapters, even head them up, and give out instructions. No, stop it already. You cannot do that. You must keep the reign, and you must stay steady, rock steady, because in the end time, this will be our ammunition. This will be our tools that we will use within our caustic record. Our weapons are not carnal. Quit thinking that you need pistols and you need hand grenades and you need machetes and you need guns that are sawed-off shotgun. Forget the weapons and give them back, as a matter of fact, because it's going to come a time when you're going to have to master all of your tools from your caustic record. Go to my website, Oracle Divination Network, and pull up the page, OracleDivinationNetwork.biz. Pull up the page and go to my store. You got to become a member first. And when you become a member, you can purchase those things from the store. Those are the tools you're going to need. If you say you are truly an Inyalafi, an Apetibi, a Babalaw, or Ifa priest, or voodoo priestess, you're going to need some tools. You just can't work alone and pull out your pistol. Your pistol will have no place in the spirit world. But the whites know this. That's why they want you to give up all your guns and turn them in so that they will have the power over you. They've already went in and claimed your voodoo, and they've claimed your ability to be an Ifa priest. And you've initiated them. You've watched them walk down the aisle, and you told them it's quite all right for them to be able to put white images in your deities. No, it's not. And change those images to the black brothers and sisters that they should be, because the ancestors will turn over in their grave if they know you have allowed someone to change the image of the black man or woman. But when someone tells you they have magic, they're going to watch you to see how you're going to fare. I tell people I have magic to get them off of me because I can go to my caustic record and pull my magic. I don't have to pull a pistol or a gun. And that's how you got to get. Put away your guns and your pistols. Get a good frame of mind. Know that your third eye has to be open. Place an object here to pierce your third eye so that when you go to sleep visually, your third eye will be open so you can see clairvoyantly. You're subjecting yourself to a clairvoyant maverick. So you have the ability to have clear audio, to hear what someone's not saying, and to see into their lives and see what they're not showing you. But we cannot continue to say that voodoo is bad. You must not curse your own gift from God. These are gods that want to mount you. These are gods that want to cohabitate with you. These are gods that want to give you power. As you dance the dance of Bimbe, and as you dance and conjure up these spirits that want to mount you, you have to work up the energy and frequency for them to show up. And that's why the dance is necessary. And it's very necessary that we not penetrate by disgracing our ancestors and by turning our backs on our ancestors because we're ashamed. The shameness comes from you not acknowledging them and going after them and letting them know you remember them. Don't let some other race walk in and take over your heritage. You have a great heritage. You have a great culture. It's world history. So technically, you're not taking on some religion that stays stagnant and never change. You are taking on nature and study nature. Like I told you, nature changes frequently, and the religion of Ifa and Voodoo changes too, because you have to change with the cycles of life. And the cycles of life will continue to change. People will continue to make their transition, and you have to be ready for those changes and be a part of the changes in a cycle of life. But we cannot turn our backs on voodoo because someone in a movie demonized it and deemed it unacceptable. We cannot tell the white folks that we are Christians because we refuse to be a voodoo priest. You have got to come out of your nonsense. This religion called Christianity, all of it was man-made and is not something that you can benefit from. It has not done any good for us as a people. Now, the white man will not even worship in the Christian faith that he gives you to worship in. He will turn his back on it. It's like weak water to him. He turns to voodoo, something stronger, while he gives you a little Kool-Aid. Well, you got to drink of the strong drink and turn to Ifa and turn to voodoo. And as I was telling you that coming into Ifa, I was already into voodoo because of the Creole and the Haitian heritage of my people, which made me a voodoo priest as well. So, understanding that there are about 19 nations, these nations have to be identified and people have to go into these nations to study. A workman needing not to be ashamed, but rightfully dividing the word of God. And that's why you have lessons and levels of lessons and schools of thoughts that you have to go into. You might have to go into the Buddhist school of thought to find your Jesus and to find the understanding of the Lotus Sutra and the teachings of it. But it's very vital that you get the African-centered traditional religion. Understand that Catholic religion was upheld at one time as Santeria. They protected our saints and they carried our saints through so that they would not be harmed. So that once we got over to the other side and out of slavery, they gave us our saints back. But now the Catholic Church is in trouble and they need us to repair them. They need us to go in there and do a great repair because a lot of us African Americans got lost in the Catholic religion and we actually fell behind and we didn't realize that we had a way of escape, that after the war was over, we could leave. But yet they don't have our idols anymore or our orishas anymore or our Santeria, but they need help. So we can't turn our backs on the organization that helped us through. We've got to turn around and see what we can do to help them. Even the Catholic priest bows down over in Leviticus to the Black Madonna and Black Jesus. He bows down to that. And even in Europe, all of the Europeans that will admit it go to their basement and bow down to the Black Madonna. They honor her. They brought me one once. I nearly fell to my knees in homage and wanted to give praise when I saw this beautiful painting of the Black Madonna and the Black baby Jesus. I know why they went in their basements and paid homage to this woman, because she came out of the lineage of Voodoo. So everything that the Catholic churches are carrying out must come from the Black Madonna, who is also in the faith of Voodoo and the cultural way of life. Now, as you get to know the cultural way of life, there is a certain way that things are done ritualistically on a monthly, weekly, yearly basis. And this is what brings in ritualistic lifestyle and celebrations of the feast, and as well as looking at our orishas and celebrating them and asking them to come and mount us and to speak to our community, give us solutions for our end time, speak through these women and men and dance their way through them and give us a word of knowledge of what to do. But we cannot continue to look up at the white folks and call them gods and give our religion over to them while we take their counterfeit religion called Christianity. You got to understand, we sometimes have to walk away from some things. I had spent my whole life in Christianity and realized that I was living a lie. I had to turn my back and walk away in order to embrace something that came from me. I was embracing a Roman methodology of teaching, because at the inception at the Council of Nicaea, they brought in a Roman teaching. It wasn't even Christianity. So we in turn are worshiping a false Christianity, and you Christians are too. That's a Roman methodology. It is not a Christian faith, and Jesus wouldn't recognize it if he came here today, because he never was Christian. But we've got to latch on to our traditional African ways of life. I repeat, we've got to latch on to our traditional African ways of life. And we cannot be apologetic. And we must be stern about it, because young people are asking, how can I be initiated? What must I do to give my life over to the higher force so that I can live for this higher force? You must commit yourself to studying everything you can about African traditional religion. Practice every day and pay homage through meditating and also through communing with your ancestors, calling their names one by one, putting them on your altar, setting up your altar with your glasses of water, and putting all the things that you think will appeal to your ancestors on your altar and calling them one by one. And don't forget to feed them. They are energy. They need energy and frequency. So you must feed them. Fix a plate of food for them whenever you are preparing food for yourself. They are waiting for you to Give them the strength they need. They cannot have the strength if you don't feed them. And you must understand, this is not bush people. This is not High John the Conqueror. And this is not witchcraft. And this is not hoodoo. It's voodoo. Okay? I'm telling you, it's voodoo. And there's nothing wrong with saying the word voodoo. Hoodoo is when you have a spell and you want to take it off, and you go to a hoodoo practitioner and they remove a spell. So these actual priests are not in the market putting spells on people. They are healers and practitioners. We are healers and practitioners. We practice the art of looking at alternative medicine and ways that we can cure someone naturally so that they're not taking these drugs that cause side effects. Whatever the practitioner wants to give, it's going to be in a natural form so that it cures the cause of your condition and not just suppress it. So practitioners are not witches, and we're not brewing up some type of foolishness for someone. We are looking at the cause of this person's mental illness, the cause of this person's stress and strife. Of course, all of us African Americans should be suffering from some stress or strife because of all the stuff that we have to go through on a daily basis and the stuff that society have forced us to go through. Yes, white folks, you have made it very difficult for us. You've caused us to have to jump through hoops. You have taken our magic and you have perverted it. And you have called it everything but the word of God. And we're taking it back. We're letting you know you cannot demonize voodoo. Voodoo has been here forever and ever and a decade. Amen. And it's everywhere. It's like Wi-Fi. You couldn't suppress it if you wanted to. It's in the atmosphere and the babies are catching hold to it. And you must understand that as you go through the terminals in the airport, the frequency of voodoo is there. And people are tapping into it and they're getting healed and they're getting saved from this wicked, wicked religion called Christianity. And they're being able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and pull themselves out of a dead religion and come into a religion that will work things out for them. Because do you not understand that you get a reading for your destination? Why are you here? What is your purpose? What are the 5 W's? Who, what, when, or where? What is your mission here? And with Ifa and with Voodoo, it gives you a direction for your life. It tells you what your mission is. What did you kneel down with to a Romala's foot and say that you were here to do? What did you enter into the contract with? What did your contract say? You signed the contract. Do you remember when you first came here to Earth? You signed a contract that you were fit to do a certain job and you came here to do it. So let's get on the horn and be about our business because we're under contract. And that means we have to fulfill the mission. But don't let anyone lie to you and tell you that this was created only for white folks. This is our culture. This is our Black heritage. White folks want in on it because they see the potential of it. They see the possibility for something being great and fulfilling a missing link. There is a missing link for healing. You can't find a cure for cancer. You can't find a cure for diabetes. So you say. You can't find a cure for high blood pressure. But Ifa knows the inception of disease. He has a cure for all diseases. And Oromala knows your inception when you first came here to Earth. He knows your beginning from your end. And he is the one that can alter the day of death. He can turn things around and change your destination and your assignment for death. He can put it on hold or prolong it. He has that ability. And no other force on this earth in a religion can claim to do that. How many ministers, how many preachers are going to tell you, hey, I can put your death on hold. I can prolong your death. I can hold back the arms of the anointed one. I can prevent that old rocking chair from getting you. How many preachers do you know that can tell you that and be honestly able to produce it? None of them, because they're not in the universal teaching. The universal teaching that comes from nature has the ability to hold back the winds. Oh, yeah, can bring the winds and tear things down. And also the waters from uh, uh, Yamanye and the waters that bring forth the ability to destroy. You must understand nature can destroy or it can uplift. But we've got to get to know nature. We've got to get out there in the forest and talk to the trees and hug them. We've got to be a part of that because that is where they tap into our powers and we become synchronized and we have synchronity on one path where we work together. And then the nature itself assists and aids you in whatever you're trying to do. And nature wants to help you. Nature's been waiting for you to say something, to call it forth. It's anxiously waiting. Now, don't give over your powers to some other force that wants to take that power from you and desecrate you and diminish you and then tell everyone they created it and it's their stuff. We know that no religion have been created by Europe or the European. We know that all religions or ways of life came out of Africa. But we've got to get on top of things. We got to make things better for ourselves. And we got to realize that we are the priestess. We need to have Oracle Divination Network set up where you can go and register your profile and let someone know what your gifts and skills are so that you can go right on over to Oracle Divination Network on the Blog Talk Radio Show, and you can look for you a practitioner, someone that can do your oracle readings, someone that can help you when you're sick and you're about to perish and you have the palsy, somebody that's been out there, been sick a long time and they don't want to be sick no more. They're tired of going to every doctor. They're tired of going to these fake doctors and they're tired of getting that medication that suppresses their symptoms and it keeps coming right back. Somebody out there right now is interested in becoming a priestess. Somebody out there who's been called to become a priestess. Somebody out there who's been initiated to be an Inyalade. Somebody is an Apetibi that wants to start out helping the Bible law. Somebody out there right now has been saying, I was waiting for this message to come forward because I'm tired of being sick and tired of being in a Christian faith that's not real and that's not ours. I know I hear a voice out there. Somebody said that I thought I had to go to Africa to be initiated. And somebody said I had to be initiated. And they didn't know they could be self-initiated. And somebody's glad about it, that they don't have to go to Africa to be initiated. They can be self-initiated and be sent on a journey. Somebody out there is looking for a mentor, somebody that can take them under their arms and spend time teaching them about their heritage. I know Nico is out there. I'm calling you, Nico. Get in your right standing, Nico. You need to get on that path that you talked about. Somebody out there like Nico, I know you're calling out. So Nico, keep calling out for that deliverer, for your mentor. Your mentor is on the way. Somebody out there this day is looking to make Ifa their home or Voodoo their home, but they're afraid of what their family members are going to say. They are shocking, and they don't understand that their family have gnashing of teeth against them for coming into a way of life. And they don't understand how to tell them this is going to be for the betterment of our family. This is going to help me to be a better person during Iwa Pelu. I'll have good character and good conduct. Somebody out there wants a way of life and don't want another religion because they can't go and give their membership to another church. There's somebody out there right now that wants to become an Ifa priest and don't know how to do it. There's somebody out there that's saying, I need someone to show me the way, put me on the path. And there's some women already been called and they're fighting the calling and they're up against the wall. They got the government up on their shoulder and they don't know what to do. Then come out like a badger, kicking and fighting, and find your path and your way into the faith of traditional African faith. It is waiting there for you. The whole host of heaven is there waiting for you to come. They're welcoming you in, saying, don't let this moment pass you by. The Orishas are waiting with their arms open wide. Don't let this moment pass you by. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Don't let this moment pass you by. The riches are waiting right now, and they're standing with their arms open wide. Don't let this moment pass you by. Their riches are waiting with their arms open wide. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Don't let this moment pass you by. Don't let this moment pass you by. The riches are waiting with their arms open wide. The war that was fought with the Haitian people was a great war. And those Seminole Indians over there in South Carolina with the Creole people and the Creed Indians, they came together and they used their magic and they repelled against those who would come against them. Do you know that with your magic, you can stop the aim of a bullet? You can redirect that bullet and change a life because you have the ability to get into rituals and get into your traditions. Don't stop practicing. Don't degress, but increase. And for those devotees out there who are devoted to following Ifa or Voodoo, I say straight ahead and into the future with you, Milwaukee. You are the one who led me into finding who I truly was in the African faith. Thank you for all that you've done and that you're going to do, because you have great work to do in mentoring these young men and women in the faith of traditional African religion. And don't regret the fact that you have been called on a mission. And I'm calling for Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm calling for Garland, Texas. I'm calling for Dallas, Texas. I'm also calling for Maryville, Indiana, Schaumburg, Indiana. And we're calling for Indianapolis, Indiana, Danville, Indiana, and Avon, Indiana. Be on a mission to serve the world and to be a healer so that you can use your skills and your ability to send out your medicine. Your message, your medicine is a message. There is a balm in Gilead. So let your medicine go forward and realize that we are going to bring forth our religion and we're going to practice our voodoo and we're going to teach our voodoo, and those who want to learn will be able to enroll in our care, and they will definitely be able to go over to the website to sign up for membership and then seek out you an actual mentor and make sure that you do leave me a note that you become a member. I look forward to having you on our website, and we are going to be offering more workshops and seminar, and you can go on that workshop and download things on there. And don't forget to go to Lilly Institute for Exceptional Education. It is a website too for the family, and you can go there, Lilly Institute for Exceptional Education, Weebly.com. Go to that website and download those freebies that are there. I want to thank you so very much, and you've been great to listen to. And I want to say straight ahead and into the future, oh devil, Baba Booey to you, y'all. Good evening.